Grand Tetons about 11:30.
To get from Gardner, Montana to the Grand Tetons, you're going to take 89 South. From 89 South, you're going to get onto 191 and go 191 South all the way to get to the Grand Tetons. This should be about 3.5 hours. Make sure you have your driver's license and your park pass out so you can get into the park as fast as you can.
Good morning.
Would you like a map and guide?
No, thank you.
Have a great day.
All right.
Had a great trip in Yellowstone. Going into Yellowstone 6:53. Let's see how long it takes us to get through Yellowstone and into the Grand Tetons entrance. One goes right into the other. Campground right off to our right here. 1 and 2 on your way to the Grand Tetons is Mammoth Springs. And this area is the same area we visited yesterday, and it's where the Army came in the late 1800s to straighten out the poachers and to be a sort of a police force, an early police force for Yellowstone. Some of those same buildings stand today, and they have a hotel here that was actually built before the Army came. That is still here. I'm sure it's been renovated. There's a nice little shop here to get some ice cream, and you can see that we're coming upon Mammoth Hot Springs off to the left. Mammoth Hot Springs is a must-do for your family when you come to visit Yellowstone. See some folks hiking up the trail right now, getting an early start. We're almost to Norris. We're interested in guys with big cameras looking up at the hills, hoping to see some wolf. How many wolf did they say? 91, right? 96 wolf in this entire park. So it's a rare sighting. Norris Geyser Basin. We spent an afternoon there. I don't know, maybe a couple hours. But they have a lot of geysers there. And that is the place where if you want to smell sulfur, you go to Norris Geyser Basin, because there's a lot of sulfur. And we even had one of them shoot out at us and get us a little bit dirty. However, there is a geyser there that is unpredictable. It is one of the largest geysers in the world when it does erupt. It erupted on Memorial Day this year. Anything else you remember about that?
Largest active geyser in the world. Shoots up 400 feet.
We found out that there's like a little pool or something go right, you're going to go to the West Yellowstone entrance.
So if you end up in Madison Campground, you went too far, and if you keep driving, you'll get to West Yellowstone. So instead, make sure you go south on 191. That's the road to the Grand Tetons.
We decided not to stay in West Yellowstone. Instead, we stayed in Gardner. West Yellowstone is more commercialized. I think where we were in Gardner is a little bit more country, and that's what we were looking for.
It's a busy area. You come through. People are going to Old Faithful. People are pulled over here.
Old Faithful is one of the most popular spots in the park for sure. When people are pulled over, they must see some bison or some bear.
Bison.
Bison in the field.
People just coming in, hadn't been here before.
You start to see so much bison that it's nice to see them, but you're not going to get out of your vehicle every time you see them. They're
Bison and elk.
Right. We should start to see some Old Faithful traveling soon. And the Grand Prismatic. The one with the larger smoke in the middle is the Grand Prismatic, and there are a lot of other little basins around the Grand Prismatic. We took that tour, and then we went up to the hill and looked down at the Grand Prismatic from the hill, and that was well worth it because you really can't see the colors of the Grand Prismatic by just walking on the boardwalk. This was a busy place. We got here plenty early, but when we were leaving, it was getting even more crowded. So right around this corner is where you park the car and get out and hike to see the top of it.
It's on this road. You'll see the parking spots.
I think most people could do that with their families to just go up that hill
Yeah,
to see it.
it's a tough hill.
It's a tough hill, but take your time and you can do it. We saw people up there with little kids and they made it. And we all took a hike beyond that too.
Very Falls.
But this is Old Faithful Crossing. It's the exit to get to Old Faithful. There's a lot of things in Old Faithful, the visitor center, hotels, gift shops, restaurants, yeah. And there's lots of nice hiking to do in Old Faithful too. That mostly it's on boardwalks, so you don't need your hiking boots for that one. And Old Faithful goes off every 60 to 90 minutes. When you go in past the visitor center, they have a little board where they'll tell you when it's going to go off next within 10 minutes. So that's probably the first thing to do when you get there, so you can time it up so you can be close to Old Faithful when she goes off. But we saw Old Faithful go off right beside her, and then we took the walk around Old Faithful and saw her go off from above. So both of those views are nice. Now we're headed to West Thumb. And West Thumb, if you look at the map of Yellowstone, you have Yellowstone Lake, and then on the west side of Yellowstone Lake is called West Thumb, and it literally looks like a thumb on the map. We're passing the Continental Divide on our way to the Tetons 3 times. Continental Divide goes east to west, west to east. Approaching the West Thumb, Yellowstone Lake. You can see it through the trees a bit. It's for visiting Yellowstone. The first one is bring lotion and bring lip balm. Lots of water and picnic lunches. Those are the things that I found out that we really needed in Yellowstone. riding, but do take those bear warnings seriously. Take time to take the horseback ride. We went to the horseback ride in Gardner. Was awesome. Through Hells Are Roaring. We were up in the mountains and we had a beautiful view and everybody enjoyed themselves. The 2-hour ride was enough for us.
2-hour horse ride.
2-hour horse ride was enough for us, yeah.
The way up in the car is a little shaky, but because you're climbing a mountain.
Can't take your RV up there.
Yeah, you can't take an RV up there.
You'll have to ride a car, and probably a car with all-wheel drive would be helpful. One of the best things that we did on this trip was raft down Yellowstone River. Do that for sure.
18-mile one. The second half of it's pretty good. There's a lake or something to the side.
That was, I would say that's one of the top highlights of our trip, to be able to do that, because the Yellowstone River is significant. You can see it almost your entire trip in Yellowstone. It's beautiful, and the largest undammed river, and our guides were awesome. We had a fun time.
Did it through Yellowstone rafting.
And they did a great job. To visit Lamar Valley, it was so worth it. And go in the evening. We saw several animals on our trip. We saw a fox. We saw rare sightings of mountain goats.
Bear.
Yeah, we saw bear,
Black bear.
black bear, bison. It was beautiful. And we tried to see wolves. So if you want to see wolves and you're going to Yellowstone, there's a place in Lamar Valley. What is that called?
Slough. Slough.
We got there a little bit late, and but the wolves had been there before us and walked right up to people because they were curious, and they had really cool pictures of them. About what time do you think?
You have to be patient. You could arrive, I wouldn't say any later than 6 o'clock, and you're just gonna have to sit and wait until sun kind of starts going down. You could be there from 6 to 9 or so if you wanted to wait patiently for the wolves. We didn't. We were skipping around and asking people, "Hey, what are you looking at?" We just didn't sit there and wait for them to come out. But next time we come, that's something we'll probably do. Get some high-powered binoculars or a scope of some sort and wait patiently.
So visit Hayden Valley. Some people visit Lamar or Hayden Valley, but we visited both because we really enjoyed seeing the animals. And the suggestion would be visit the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone the same time that you're going to visit Hayden Valley, because the two of them are pretty close together. We saw similar animals in Hayden Valley, and if we were able to stay later in the evening, I think we would have saw more. But we were Hayden Valley from the north entrance, and Gardner's kind of a long drive. You will get dusty in your trip to Yellowstone, so don't bring your new tennis shoes, and make sure you bring your hiking boots, because there are a lot of beautiful trails to hike in Yellowstone. Know that when you come to Yellowstone, you're probably not going to see everything. Plan your trip to see the major points like Old Faithful, the Grand Prismatic, Mammoth Hot Springs,
Upper Lower Falls.
Upper Lower Grand Teton Park information 100 yards ahead. Leaving Yellowstone.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to see more Our Next Trail videos.
The Teton Park, Grand Teton, 7 miles. So I thought it was going to be one going right into the other. So it took us about 2 hours, 15 minutes. It said it was going to take us much longer than that, so it's a good thing we got up early.
Why?
So we can get through the park faster. There's less people, less traffic.
I think so too.
Yeah.
Until next time, let Our Next Trail help you find your next trail.